The world's gone wild, it's true, but there's something I wanna do. When the alarm sounds and chaos ensues, I'll be there dancing in my Sunday shoes. When the skies turn dark and the bombs they rain, I won't be bothered, I'll embrace the pain. I'll be swinging in style with a smile so bright, 'cause when it's all over there'll be no more fights. When the bomb drops, we'll be jumping high, swinging and singing as the world says goodbye. Oh, the atom bomb may be catastrophic, true, but there's no denying there'll be a great view. Oh, the world's gone wild, it's true, but there's something I wanna do. When the alarm sounds and chaos ensues, I'll be there dancing in my Sunday shoes. When the skies, I won't be bothered, I'll embrace the pain. I'll be swinging in style with a smile so bright, 'cause when it's all over there'll be no more fights. When the bomb drops, we'll be jumping high, swinging and singing as the world says goodbye. Oh, the atom bomb may be catastrophic, true, but there's no denying there'll be a great view. Oh, the world's gone wild, it's true, but there's something I wanna do. When the alarm sounds and chaos ensues, I'll be there dancing in my Sunday shoes. When the skies turn dark and the bombs they rain, I won't be bothered, I'll embrace the pain. I'll be swinging in style with a smile so bright, 'cause when it's all over there'll be no more fights. When the bomb drops, we'll be jumping high, swinging and singing as the world says goodbye. Oh, the atom bomb may be catastrophic, true, but there's no denying there'll be a great view. Oh, the world's gone wild, it's true, but there's something I wanna do. When the alarm sounds and chaos ensues, I'll be there dancing in my Sunday shoes. When the skies turn dark and the bombs they rain, I won't be bothered, I'll embrace the pain. I'll be swinging in style with a smile so bright, 'cause when it's all over there'll be no more fights. When the bomb drops, we'll be jumping high, swinging and singing as the world says goodbye. Oh, the atom bomb may be catastrophic, true, but there's no denying there'll be a great view. The world's gone wild, it's true, but there's something I wanna do. When the alarm sounds and chaos ensues, I'll be there dancing in my Sunday shoes. When the skies turn dark and the bombs they rain, I won't be bothered, I'll embrace the pain. I'll be swinging in style with a smile so bright, 'cause when it's all over there'll be no more fights. When the bomb drops, we'll be jumping high, swinging and singing as the world says goodbye. And there'll be a great view. Oh, the world's gone wild, it's true, but there's something I wanna do. When the alarm sounds and chaos ensues, I'll be there dancing in my Sunday shoes. When the skies turn dark and the bombs they rain, I won't be bothered, I'll embrace the pain. I'll be swinging in style with a smile so bright, 'cause when it's all over there'll be no more fights. When the bomb drops, we'll be jumping high, swinging and singing as the world says goodbye. Oh, the atom bomb may be catastrophic, true, but there's no denying there'll be a great view. Oh, the world's gone wild, it's true, but there's something I wanna do. When the alarm sounds and chaos ensues, I'll be there dancing in my Sunday shoes. When the skies turn dark and the bombs they rain, I won't be bothered, I'll embrace the pain. I'll be swinging in style with a smile so bright, 'cause when it's all over there'll be no more fights. When the bomb drops, we'll be jumping high, swinging and singing as the world says goodbye. Oh, the atom bomb may be catastrophic, true, but there's no denying there'll be a great view. Oh, the world's gone wild, it's true, but there's something I wanna do. When the alarm sounds and chaos ensues, I'll be there dancing in my Sunday shoes. When the skies turn dark and the bombs they rain, I won't be bothered, I'll embrace the pain. I'll be swinging in style with a smile so bright, 'cause when it's all over there'll be no more fights. When the bomb drops, we'll be jumping high, swinging and singing as the world says goodbye. Oh, the atom bomb may be catastrophic, true, but there's no denying there'll be a great view. When the alarm sounds and chaos ensues, I'll be there dancing in my Sunday shoes. When the skies turn dark and the bombs they rain, I won't be bothered, I'll embrace the pain. I'll be swinging in style with a smile so bright, 'cause when it's all over there'll be no more fights. When the bomb drops, we'll be jumping high, swinging and singing as the world says goodbye. Oh, the atom bomb may be catastrophic, true, but there's no denying there'll be a great view. Something I wanna do. When the alarm sounds and chaos ensues, I'll be there dancing in my Sunday shoes. When the skies turn dark and the bombs they rain, I'll be swinging in style with a smile so bright, 'cause when it's all over there'll be no more fights. When the bomb drops, we'll be jumping high.
Hello, everybody. It is so glad to be back. I am so glad to be back. I've been really looking forward to this. Let's get started really quick while we give everybody some time to get in here, and just do a little bit of opening of what we're going to be talking about tonight. So the catastrophe began long before the plague. In 1315, Europe entered a darkness of its own making. Fields drowned under relentless rains, harvests collapsed, and for 2 unbroken years, famine gripped nearly every corner of the continent. From the North Sea to Poland and down to the Alps, the Great Famine wasn't just a food shortage. It was a structural unraveling. Livestock herds vanished, seed reserves were consumed, and entire communities were pushed to the edge of survival. When the skies finally cleared, Europe tried to rebuild, but the recovery was thin. More appearance, really, than reality. Malnutrition lingered, economies strained, and the population remained weakened in ways no one fully understood at that time. And the fragility would matter because roughly 30 years later, another crisis was already moving towards Europe's shores, one far deadlier than failed harvests. That would be the Great Pestilence, or what some know as the Black Plague. Historians now argue that the Great Famine didn't just precede the disaster, it prepared the ground for it. And Mortes, and this is the Horror Gallery. So, like I said, for y'all, everyone just joining us, we were giving everybody a little bit of time to get in. We are talking about the Great Famine of 1315. This would precede the Black Plague by about 30 years. And as most historians, or some historians do believe, that this kind of laid the groundwork for just the absolute disaster that would come some, 30 years, 40 years later. So let's go ahead and get to the comments real quick and chat for a minute, and then we'll get started. So let's see who all we've got here. And guys, just bear with me. I'm still getting my sea legs. We have been super busy this last year, besides Akia and Hexus, making little Akias and Hexuses. We here at the crypt have completely refurbished everything. We're working with a new program. Hello, John. And so I'm still trying to learn it a little bit, so just bear with me. All right, so we have, let's see, Raven. Raven says hi, and I can't figure out yet how to bring those up. So I'll get that worked out, hopefully by next stream. So then we've got our Psycho Bunny DC in the house. They're saying hello to everyone. We've got Frank here. He says hi. Let's see. Frank's also saying hi to Raven. Let's see. John. John is in the house. Hello. He says hi, Mother. Good to see you. Well, I'm so glad to be seen. I have really been ready to get back into, the horror gallery and doing all my dark history and stuff like that, because that's just kind of my wheelhouse. Just something I really enjoy doing. So let me know, too, if you guys can give me a thumbs up, that I sound okay, I'm not too loud, I'm not too soft, and also, was the intro loud enough? We had some problems when we did the test last week, that the intro itself seemed to be very muted, so I had to go in there and tweak a few things, so hopefully it was a little bit louder. Just let me know in the comments, so that way if we do need to address anything by next stream, we can do that. I really do appreciate it. So, other than that, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, hang on just a second. Let me get my notes up here. And I will be popping in from time to time just to check the comments. But I want to make sure that we don't go too much over an hour. So, all right. So in the 14th century, if you walk through the muddy streets of a European village, you might truly believe you were witnessing the end of days. Famine, plague, religious turmoil weren't just threats. They were a daily reality that tore the social fabric of the continent apart. It was a shadow that seeped into Europe's memory so deeply that it survived in the stories we tell our children even today. Because, we often think of history as just a sequence of names and dates, but the Great Famine was honestly something very different. Tonight we'll be looking at the single longest period of societal stress Europe had experienced since the 9th century. And again, that would be the Great Famine of 1315. Some refer to it as the Great Famine of 1315 to 1317. Now, let me try one of my new little thingy doodles here, see if it'll work. Volume 1. The specialization trap. To understand the crash, we have to look at the boom. Between the years 1000 and 1250, Europe wasn't struggling. It was actually flourishing. This was the medieval warm period. It was a stretch of mild weather that allowed the population to triple. Farmers were using we don't really consider it now, but at that time, the agricultural success led to what historians call the economic rationalism. For the first time, regions began to specialize. Sicily became a massive wheat producer for export. The south of France became a world-renowned vineyard region. This was a booming, interconnected economy. Jobs for hundreds of thousands of people. You become vulnerable. If one part of the system fails, the whole thing can't absorb the shock. By the late 13th century, growth had peaked. The technique that sparked the boom, those 3 field rotations, hadn't been improved on in centuries. Europe was at its carrying capacity, which means that we didn't have the types of fertilizers and things like that we have today. So when you are constantly rotating crops, even though it does help to rotate them, eventually you're going to leach the soil of all the nutrients. And a carrying capacity is just the amount that the soil can produce to actually have some sort of healthy plant that actually gives you the vitamins and stuff that you need. Then around 1250, the climate began to cool. The growing season shortened year after year. And then, in the fall of 1314, the North Atlantic Oscillation. It was a massive atmospheric pattern. It got stuck in what they call a negative mode. The rain basically started, and it simply did not stop. Volume 2. The deluge and the salt crisis. Imagine a rain so heavy it washes away the very soil you need to plant in. In 1315, the rainfall was 130% above the average. Seeds rotted in the mud, and the rivers like the Seine flooded, washing away storage grain. But there was a hidden crisis that made everything worse: salt. In medieval Europe, salt was the chief preservative. You couldn't just go to the grocery store for fresh meat. You had to salt it to keep it through the winter. Salt was produced by evaporating seawater in ponds, but because it wouldn't stop raining, the water couldn't boil off or evaporate. Without salt, even the food they did have couldn't be stored. Then came the bovine plague. Across Europe, livestock were dying in masses. One English priory saw its cattle herd drop from 3,000 to just 800 head of cattle in 2 years. And by 1316, England had lost half of its sheep and its cows. As the food vanished, the economy imploded. The price of grain quadrupled. People spent every cent they had on bread, which wiped out savings in it, so landlords fell into debt. To stay afloat, people took out loans to pay off other loans in what eventually became a gigantic scheme that eventually led to the collapse of great families such as the Riccardi and the Prezuzzi, the English monarchy itself during that time period. So let's take a look at the comments. I see that a lot of people are in here and are saying hello. And let's just see what's going on. Oh, I left my volume up. Hold on, let me turn that off. See, I told you I'm getting my sea legs here. All right. So let's see what's going on here. All right, and so John says everything sounds fine. And then Aki is here. Hello. And then let's see. Oh, Violet is watching, Odd Mother. Oh, I am so glad. Hello, Violet. So we have a new member of the PBDC family. And let's see, dancing. There's dancing squiggles. What? And let's see. Frank says, I sowed my oats. I am an expert in soil fertilization. Yes, you have been busy this year. And then let's see. He also says, bet the Scottish stole. Actually, I've gone through this pretty quickly. All right. So this may be shorter than an hour tonight, guys. I will try to slow it down just a bit. But it is time for the midway already. So that's where we're going. We'll be right back. Oh, and if you've got to take a pee break or anything like that, this would be the time to do it. All right, be right back.
Right, darlings, tomorrow we nick the Black Goat diamond off that smug Silicon Valley twat who's busy censoring half the bloody internet, and we spend every penny hosting pirate servers and telling the woke starsies to go fuck themselves. Questions?
It's cursed, mother. Proper cursed. Anyone who owns it ends up cancelled, or worse, deplatformed.
Texas love, the only thing getting cancelled tomorrow is that convoy's insurance. I'll bat my lashes at the guards, then introduce their bollocks to my boot heels.
Simple job. I ghost in, crack the vault, ghost out.
Good. But remember, no heroes, no mercy. We're not robbing a bank. We're robbing the censors.
Positions, you beautiful bastards. Remember, this is for every meme they've banned, every joke they've killed.
Ready, mother? Let's do this.
Ready! Let's get these twats!
Ready, mother? And in position. For non-conformity! Stop! Or I'll bloody take out your tires!
Just here for the rock, no need to make this viral.
What a rush!
Running off, I feel it,
very, very serious about his nonconformity. So let's get over here to the chats and see what's going on. Yes, Mark, I said a pee break. Even though it's a little early in the feed, probably have to go to the bathroom unless you are like I am and I have a bladder of an acorn. Anyway, so let's see what's going on here. John says, I'm glad I live in the good old USA in the 21st century. Yeah, it was, it was, our ancestors dealt with some rough stuff. They dealt with some rough stuff. And yes, Frank, it is proper cursed. Let's see. Aki says, this is great. And then, yes, Frank says, by using that AI video, we have dried up 3 lakes and 2 Eastern European oceans, making that commercial with AI. Aw, and then John says, LOL, I like Mother's AI generated image, but I love Mother's real voice. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. And guys, right now would be the great time to share out. That is the best and absolutely free way to support your streamers. We do this because we enjoy doing it. And it's really all for you guys. So please share out, especially if you know somebody that might enjoy what we're doing tonight. Even with all my flubs using this new program. We'll get it down though. So, but we're going to go ahead and get started unless anybody else has anything to say. Say it now or forever hold your peace, at least for the next 5 minutes. Let's see, I got a bling. Let's see if anything pops up. If not, we're going to get back to it. Oh, well, I guess you'll just have to wait for 5 minutes. All right, so where are we at? Let's see. All right, and I'm not going to forget to take this down this time. Volume 3. There, see, I took it down. The loss of humanity. By 1316, the famine had reached its peak. Estimates suggest that between 10 to 25% of the population had died in certain areas, with, of course, urban areas often hit the hardest. But this wasn't just hunger. This was a breakdown of morality. People were eating grass, bark, as well as rats, cats, and dogs. Even the historical records contain reports that are far more harrowing. Contemporary chronicles from Estonia, Ireland, Poland, all mention the same thing: cannibalism. In Picardy, a monk named, and I'm going to try to pronounce this correctly, Jean du Venet, wrote of mothers eating their dead children in a state of delirium. And kind of a fun fact, this particular monk, he was also the monk, he was a 14th century French Carmelite friar, and is well known, or best known, as the chronicler who also recorded the 100 Years' War, or information on the 100 Years' War, as well as the Black Death. And from the English chronicler and Benedictine monk Johannes de Trokenlo, and I quote, "In the year of our Lord, 1315, apart from the other hardships which England was afflicted, hunger grew in the land. Meat and eggs began to run out. Capons, which I believe are chickens, and fowl could hardly be found. Animals died of pest. Swine could not be fed because of the excessive price of fodder. A quarter of wheat or beans or peas sold for 20 shillings. Now, basically in 1313, a quarter of wheat sold for about 5 shillings, so it had really gone up. Barley for a mark, oats for 10 shillings. A quarter of salt was commonly sold for 35 shillings, which in former times was quite unheard of. The land was so oppressed with what that when the king came to St. Albans on the feast of St. Lawrence, which is August 10th, it was hardly possible to find bread on sale to supply his immediate household. The dearth began in the month of May and lasted until the feast of the Nativity of the Virgin, which is September 8th. The summer rains were so heavy that grain could not ripen. It could hardly be gathered and used to bake bread down to the said feast day unless it was first put in vessels to dry. Around the end of autumn, the dearth was mitigated in part, but towards Christmas it became as bad. Was not nourished by the warmth of summer sunshine. So basically, the food itself, you could eat it, but it had very little nutrition in it, just because of all the rain. Hence, those who ate it, even in large quantities, were hungry again after just a little while. There came to be no doubt that the poor wasted away when even the rich were constantly hungry. Considering and understanding these past miseries and those that were still to come, we can see how the prophecy of Jeremiah is fulfilled in the English people. And I quote of the quote, "If I go forth into the fields, behold those slain with the sword. And if I enter into the city, behold them that are consumed with famine." Jeremiah 14:18. Going forth into the fields, when we call to the mind the ruin of our people in Scotland and Gascony, Wales, and Ireland, entering the city we consider them that are consumed with famine. Then we see the poor and needy, crushed with hunger, lying stiff and dead in the wards and streets. 4 pennies worth of coarse bread was not enough to feed a common man for one day. The unusual kinds of meats suitable for eating were too scarce. Horse meat was precious. Plump dogs were stolen. And according to many reports, men and women in many places secretly ate their own children. End of the quote. Now, in Ireland, chroniclers reported people extracting, even extracting bodies from cemeteries to eat their flesh. Society was sacrifice driven. Basically, to save the present, they sacrificed the future. They ate the seed grain meant for next year's harvest. They slaughtered the last breeding animals. And most tragically, they abandoned the vulnerable. Children were left in the forest, and the elderly sometimes voluntarily chose to starve so that the young might live. In the cities, overcrowding led to street gangs, prostitution, and outbreaks of tuberculosis and typhus, and served as the inspiration and real-life backdrop to some well-known cautionary tales we still tell our children today. The social order, even King Edward II of England reportedly struggled to find bread for his own table. So let's go to the comments real quick, because I hear a lot of activity. Let's see what we got going on here. Hold on just a second. All right. So where were we at before? Excuse me. So it looks like the most comfortable chair or seat in the house is being occupied by the baby, who is lounging in Akia's lap, like a recliner. Let's see. Capon is a castrated rooster. Okay, thank you. I knew it had something to do with chicken, but I didn't know it was specifically a castrated rooster. Which, how would you castrate a rooster? Like, I've had chickens before. They don't have dangly bits that you can see, so I wonder how you would do that. That is something to Google. And she says she's not sure why she remembers that, but she does. Probably because it sounds like it would be a very difficult thing to do, since they don't have dangly bits outside their body that I've ever seen. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Frank says they should have had Sloppy Joes if they were hungry. Yeah, Sloppy Joes made out of Joe that was hanging out in the cemetery, I guess. I don't know. So Mark says, okay, just got here. Catch me up. What are we talking about? No, we were talking about the Great Famine of 1315, or the one sometimes referred to as the Great Famine of 1315 through 1317. But yes, it was a kind of a really bad thing before, the Black Death, which would come around 30 or 40 years later, something like that. Let's see. Oh my gosh. So John says this could be an ad for the Patriot Supply Emergency Foods. Yes, if you want to sponsor us, we could do an ad for you. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Yes, it's the Great Famine, exactly. And John says, I've read that during the Depression, some people survived by eating dandelions. And I don't remember right offhand, John, because I'm telling you, at my age, 140 something years old, I'm having to dump people's last names at this point to remember new information. But in my area, there are people that still eat dandelions. Like, you can actually order, because you really can't tell these days if it's maybe they're growing in an area that's been, sprayed with something, some sort of weed killer. But you can actually order dandelions to grow in your garden. And they're big dandelions. Like, they don't look like normal dandelions that I've, normally see. But they're supposed to be really good for you. My thing is from what I understand, if the end of the world does happen, I can dry the roots and ground them up for coffee. Because I have to have coffee even in the apocalypse. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll be grinding up dandelion root. Let's see. And Frank says, and these death cultist commies want us to believe slightly warmer temps is bad. Let's see. Well, we're going to get to that, John. You're not far off at all. There are a lot of fairy tales that took place during this time period, or this as the backdrop, such as, and we've talked about it before, but it's been years, and gosh, I probably need to go ahead and revisit it at some point, and that is the Pied Piper. There were a lot of things going on during that time period, and, maybe it's a way to, I don't know, therapeutically deal with what happened to all your children. I don't rightly know. But they surely didn't get led away by a man with a flute. Let's see. And then Akia says, dandelions are pretty good for you. Lots of vitamins and minerals. The only issue is they can cause kidney stones. Yeah, I think they're high in, I forget, you can tell me. Now, I also know that I had read something that Germany actually uses them to help treat, oh gosh, there goes my memory again, cirrhosis of the liver. They can help treat that. And sorry, Frank says, be my guest, Google castrated cocks, I dare you. Be very careful, very, very careful Googling how to castrate a rooster. That's hilarious. Oh my God. That's probably the best laugh I've had tonight so far. Okay, so let's get back to this. I'm going to be giggling about that. All right. Where are we at? Okay. Volume 4. Let's get rid of that. Pull up my notes. Volume 4, The Grimms and the Witch's Oven. So see, there you go, John. It is from this literal hell on earth that Hansel and Gretel. Many people starved to death during and cannibalism took place as people became more desperate. The situation for some families became so wretched that they left their children to fend for themselves. When the Brothers Grimm published the story in 1812, they weren't writing for children. They were scholars trying to preserve Germanic culture while it was being overrun by Napoleon's France. The original version of these tales were much darker. In the early Grimm editions, it was the children's actual biological mother who abandoned them, not the stepmother. This reflected the agonizing reality of the famine of 1315. Now, there are variations to Hansel and Gretel. In the Italian tale, and I'm going to try to pronounce this correctly, Nanilio and Nanilia, the father leaves a trail of oats that a donkey eats. But in the Romanian version, the little boy and the wicked stepmother, which is the most haunting of these tales, in that story, the stepmother actually kills the little boy and forces the sister to cook him for the family meal. The sister hides the boy's heart in a tree, and he is eventually reborn as a cuckoo bird to take his revenge. Then she's admitted into the asylum. One flew over the cuckoo's nest. No, I'm joking. That part's not real. Now, these stories serve as a therapy for a traumatized continent. They were a way to process the guilt of abandonment and the horror of cannibalism while offering a happy ending where children win through grit and intelligence. The gingerbread house itself, a twisted dream of plenty in a world where bread was rarer than gems. Oh, hold on. Volume 5. The Legacy of Hunger. And this will be the conclusion as far as the actual topic we're talking about tonight. So we went through this a little faster than I had anticipated. Now, by 1322, the weather stabilized and the famine ended. Not just because the rain stopped, but because so many millions had died that there simply were fewer people to feed. The Great Famine changed the world. It thinned the population right before the Black Death would arrive in the 1340s. It shattered the prestige of the Catholic Church because prayers for rain had failed, leading to the rise of heretical movements and secular science. But it also created the modern world. In Italy, the influx of capital from local government bonds allowed families like the Medici family to rise to power, eventually igniting what we know as the Renaissance. So let's go over the comments real quick. Like I said, it looks like we're going to close up a little quicker than I had anticipated, but that's okay. It's a Friday night. I'm sure you guys can find something to do. Let's see what we got here. Hold on just a second. All right. So Akia says oxalates. If they build up in your system, they can cause kidney stones. Okay, so that's the component within dandelion. However, they can also help prevent when used properly. Yeah. And I guess that's anything. You know, that's one thing I've always instilled in, you know, my two daughters, is that just because something, you know, is a vitamin, or, you know, if it's an herb, especially herbs, things like that. A lot of medications derive from herbs. You know, yes, a lot of them are synthetic now, but you know, in the beginning, a lot of herbs, and still are, used to make, you know, serious medications. And so, you know, herbs and vitamins need to be handled with just as much care as you would like a prescribed, you know, some sort of prescribed medication. You can't just, you know, overdo it with those kind of things. So, let's see. And so Mark says, okay, from a copy of a book that I have, a great famine of dearth with such mortality that the living could scarcely suffer to bury the dead. Horse flesh and dog flesh was accounted good meat. And some ate their own children. Exactly. And a lot of times the reason they wouldn't bury the dead is because basically they would eat them. Let's see. The thieves that were in the prisons did pluck and tear in pieces such as were newly put into prisons and devoured. Oh my God. It sounded like a really shitty time, honestly. Like, I'm kind of glad I didn't grow up in the 1315s, at least not in Europe. Let's see. John says, aside, I've been on a diet many times, and I'm amazed how little food a human actually needs. I could eat 10 times. Let's see, hold on. I could eat 10 times what I'm supposed to. Yeah, and you know, there's kind of a debate there too, like with all the GMO foods and things like that. Yeah, they grow really quickly. But I do, and it is not just like some sort of weird conspiracy, but, and granted, I'm older too, but I remember food filling you up more. I don't remember snacking all day long, like we do now. And you know, there's some belief there that a lot of these GMO foods, which we're trying to get away from, they just don't carry the same nutrition as, what we think of as like heirloom or organic. You know, normal fruits and vegetables and meats and things like that. So, yeah, I believe that. Like, really, you don't need that much. I mean, you need to keep your calorie intake up, but that doesn't mean you need to be eating all day long. And good luck, I believe my body was held together with nicotine. That's all I say. And then, let's see, Akia said, you're going to make me pronounce French, aren't you? And I'm going to say it completely wrong. Folie Dux. I cannot speak French. That's what the volume image reminds me of. Oh yeah, the little like the jester. Yes. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to have to try this. So Akia says, let's see, it's called the rain turtle, works to bring rain. You draw the turtle in the dirt, write an R in the middle of the shell, then spit on it. I guarantee rain. This is what they taught me in basic. Brought to you by the U.S. Army. At least we weren't eating crayons. Y'all are funny tonight. Let's see. Yeah, and then Frank is talking to John, but he was talking about when he had his when I had gallstones, my diet consisted of practically nothing. I was very surprised how little I ate each day. Oh, and we've got somebody over on Kick. Hello, Kick. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I think that might be a bot. Oh, well. But hi, Kick, anyway. I know this is a new platform we've been working on. Let's see. Yeah, so Aki's talking about, yeah, we're basically having to eat on the baby's diet, on the baby's schedule. It consists of drinking massive amount of matcha and drinking 6 to 10 bottles of water, then eating dinner if the baby allows it. I will allow you to have dinner so that you may feed me later. That's funny. Yeah, boo-bots. I know. I was so excited. I thought we had somebody new, but it's all right. He's letting me know that we could get up to 200 plus active viewers, increase their following up to 5,000 real followers. Just hit him up on Discord. All right. Anyway, let's get back to this, and we're going to wrap it up. All right. So, in closing, the Great Famine, how quickly the world we trust can unravel when the harvest fails, when the sky turns against us, when hunger becomes the only law people recognize. And it reminds us that our most beloved fairy tales are often the scars of history, written in the language of survival. Stories like Hansel and Gretel carry the memory of empty fields and desperate winters. Warnings disguised as bedtime tales, whispered by people who had seen what starvation could make of a family, a village, and a nation. What the famine left behind wasn't just loss. It was a kind of cultural bruise, deep, dark, and slow to fade. It shaped the fears parents passed to their children, the stories communities told to make sense of the suffering, and the quiet understanding that prosperity is never guaranteed. When we look back at 1315, we're not just studying a disaster. We're listening to the echoes of a world pushed to its breaking point and to the people who endured it. Their stories survived because they had to, because forgetting would be dangerous, because the line between stability and collapse has never been as solid as we would like to believe. And I appreciate you watching tonight. Again, share this out to anybody you think that might be interested. We will be back. We do every other week rotation. So I will not be on next Friday. That will be, I believe, because we talked about this earlier. So Roots Bleed Red will be live this coming up Friday. So this next Friday. And then we will also be having Chit Chat with Akia. But I don't think that she has a guest this week. She's trying to do guests on like a kind of a rotating thing. So it will just be her this coming up Wednesday, her and Hexus. So that will be something that you guys definitely want to tune into. And then, yes, Spooky Tales with Steve the Cat will be back. He is currently working on some new episodes. We've just all been really busy this year. This last year, 2025, was just the year to really take care of other things. So that we could come back bigger and better. So yeah. So let me go through the comments one more time, and then I am going to bid you guys a good night and pleasant nightmares. So let's see what's going on here. Let's see. So John says, my God, they had it rough back then. We have it easy. That's why it's good to study this stuff. Exactly. The thing that does, kind of, I guess, if there were some parallels, was the whole specialization trap. And reliance on other countries for our food and medications and things like that. I'm really big on self-sustainability. And I think that is something that is uber important because, we think that we are just so well developed and modern and everything like that. But it could take something throwing a wrench into those cogs, and society would come apart just as easy as it did back then. So we aren't that much of a different animal. What is the saying? Let's see. Is it 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water? No, 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. After 3 weeks without food, you will start seeing cannibalism. So, we are still the same human animal. But yeah, I am so glad to be back, and I am so glad to see everybody in here tonight. Let's see. Isn't that thin? Yeah, chaos with a K isn't that thin. Inside joke. Let's see. John says it's great to hear your voice. Looking forward to your next show. Yeah, and I don't know what we're going to be doing as far as a show next stream, but I'll pick out something good for you guys. And then Frank says, welcome back. I know I am so glad to be back. And then, yeah, Akia said 2025, it was happy, but it was brutal as well. Yeah, I would agree. And then Agia says, wait, zombies would starve these days. All right, guys. Well, I had a really good time tonight. I hope you did, too. I hope you learned a little something. And I will say adieu and pleasant nightmares. Bye.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.